The word narcissism has gained popularity in these past couple of years. But the truth is, it's been around since the beginning, because Satan himself, that is who he is. And the Old Testament talks about witchcraft and all these, like, quote unquote little gods who perform these miracles, and it seems so legit, but then it always failed. It was never like kind of like the Tower of Babel. They tried to build up to the heavens and God was like, what are you doing? So, and you just read about these old stories in the Old Testaments over and over and over again. Man wanting to be God, man wanting to be God in himself. I mean, it's the same old song, the same old tune, still to this day. I mean, our flesh is religious. Our flesh is religious. Our flesh is always wanting to rise up, even though it's dead. It's always wanting to rise up and say, I got something better than God. I got something better than Christ in you. And the Christ in you, God in you, is like, no, you don't. I am the very best that you have. And that's why you lean on Jesus and depend on Jesus and rely on Jesus over and over and over again. And as you get older in your Christian faith, you realize that you're needing the cross more. You're realizing that you need Jesus more. You're realizing so many things that you didn't realize before, because slowly, even though God came into you, you have a new spirit and you're in the newness of Christ and your flesh is dead. He's constantly showing you in your Christian life that it's about him. It's all about him. It's about him. And resting, the rest that we talk about, is not inactivity. It's really not. It's when you have nothing at all. When you've exhausted everything in your life. And I'm not talking about, salvation. Everybody knows pretty much the people that come on this channel know. And if you're new to this channel, it's not by works that you're saved. It's only through the faith in Jesus Christ that you are even saved, not of works, lest you should boast. Lest you should have anything to boast about in yourself. In ourselves dwelleth no good thing. The only thing that dwelleth in us that is good is Christ in us. And I've heard a couple of people say, just smiling at somebody walking through a building or walking outside of a building is a good work, because you don't know what you've done. Maybe they were about to end their life, and that smile saved them. The Christ in you smiled through you as you looked to that person and hugged that person. Christ hugged that person through you. If you wipe the tears of someone, Christ in you wipe those tears. It is all about Jesus. And the good works that he foreordained for us to walk in was in the future, in the present tense, before we were even saved. It was Christ himself who foreordained them. So narcissism is huge. I mean, it explains everything. It's like a light bulb moment. And it's not, when we hear about that word, we think about a person, but here's the deep thing. It's not specifically about a person. It's the system. It's the falling world and the government and all of these powers and princes and powers and the principalities of this world It's all hooked up together, you know. If you really look at it like that, it's the system in a whole. And but we are falling people. God is not a falling God. He is infallible. He does not sin. He's never sinned. He is God in the flesh, Jesus Christ. And when you take two people together and they marry, that's why I was saying marriage and divorce, you know, these religious people are always wanting to say something about it. But here's the truth of the matter. In the Old Testament, or I think it was in Matthew, the Jews were like, yeah, remember in the law, whatever, you can only divorce through adultery. Okay, well, that was under the law, you know. So I'm not saying that we are to go out and just divorce. What I am saying, though, is we're not under the law. We're under God's grace. And God, you cannot exhaust God's grace. You cannot sin away God's grace either. God's grace overrides and it's overpowered sin any day. You know, the older you get, the more you realize, like, we're going to sin. We're going to make mistakes. Is it right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying, though, that's why leaning in Jesus and his love for you and his grace for you is living the Christian life. It is. Paul in Ephesians chapter 3, read it. It is so powerful for you to know that his love and his grace is more mightier than your sin, is more mightier than your mistakes, is more mightier than your condemnation, is more mightier than your wicked thoughts. Okay? He is the only one that can take care of addictions and mistakes and sorrows and troubles and tribulations through you. And leaning in him and his love for you and his grace for you is living the Christian life. There's no other way when you have exhausted every other way. And the older you get, by the way, the more he will reveal to you of a needing on him because of your flesh, you know. The one thing why I don't feel the need to preach about good works is because God is the one that walks a Christian through these good works in your life, because he foreordained them. So it's personal. So, like, it looks different in everybody's lives. And of course people know, like we know, like even the Gentiles, see the Jews followed the law. The Gentiles had the law in ourselves. We were born with knowing what was good and what was not good, what was evil and what was not evil. The meat of the word is Christ, and it will always be Christ. It does not matter what man says. God is faithful. His word stands truth. And he is the meat and the potatoes and the chocolate milk, whatever you want to say it, however you want to say it. He is the way, the truth, the life. And that's not just through salvation. That is through salvation, but it's through your Christian life as well. And so it's much deeper than, and I say much deeper, not that there's some kind of deeper knowledge, but it's more deeper as, wow, I really cannot do anything in myself. Like, this whole thing is Christ, and it will always go back to Jesus Christ. You know, all of us have done vain things. All of us had done dead works, you know, from time to time. The truth in us is Christ, and he makes us the truth, and he makes us right and in right standing with him, you know. And as we sup with him, we can rely on him and trust him, and he is our motivation to do anything in this world, to do anything around us, to make whatever is to be made, as we walk this journey, you know. So like I said, it's never going to be multi-levels, ever, never, ever, 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 ever. In Christ, it is a huge stream. You can picture it with rocks, however you want, fish, pure water. Not like the woman at the well, where she was trying to get it over and over and over again, and then he was like, I am the everlasting life. I am the everlasting waters, the pure water, flowing all of your days for the rest of your life. It's a flow. It's a free flow. Nothing could exhaust that, like, ever. The only thing that he will constantly bring you back to is, you're right with me. You are righteous. You are justified because of me. You are sanctified because of me. You are set apart. You are already holy. You cannot be more holier than what you already are now. You cannot be more sanctified than what you already are now. You are 100%, because I am 100% in you, and I've done it. I've completed it. So the rest of your Christian life, it's not many different roads and many different avenues and many different steps. That is the system. The system is narcissistic. You know, controlling, manipulative, selfish, jealousy, babyish, because that's really what it is. It's a bunch of kids who've not grown. They're in fear. They need to know God's love for themselves. Strife, anger, it's the flesh. It's the whole system. Thank God for Jesus. I thank God for Jesus every single day. You know, when it's you have to exhaust everything. It's all about Christ, and that is the meat. He's the one that shows you what you do and what you need to do, and he does it in such a loving way. And he's always singing it over you, and always talking over you and giving you this nourishment. You know, I was watching these hummingbirds. I thought to film it. And I only have one up this year. I was supposed to have a couple of them up, but anyway, these two hummingbirds are fighting, because I'm just watching it, right? And I'm like, dude, there's 5 flowers to drink from, but they're fighting over the same flower. But they're able to get the same nourishment. It's inside of the mix that I made, the sugar water. So I'm just looking at that, I'm like, there's 5 flowers, 5 meaning grace. And I'm thinking, you can go on the other side and still get the same nourishment. God talks to me in so many beautiful ways. It's amazing. And he talks to you the same way. Every child of God, that's how he talks to. You just have to be open to see these things. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. There's no words. But yeah, it's narcissism didn't just come out. It was since the beginning, and it's the whole system. And we are to crucify the religion and the religious trying to rise up in us over and over again. It's Christ. It will always be about Jesus. So just my thoughts today. Wanted to kind of talk about, because I had said I wanted to talk about narcissism, but it goes really deep, you know. I'm trying not to. I know that the Lord instructed me to come on and just talk about Him and His love and His grace and His nourishment and His peace and His kindness and His goodness. And from time to time, you know, of course, I can, you know, talk about other certain things, but for the most part, it's all about the refreshment. It really is. We're too close for Christ's return to be this and that and that and this. It's like, listen, let's get back to the Lord. Let's get back to Christ. Let's get back to His goodness, His kindness, His mercy, His grace, His love. That's what moves us. That's what motivates us. That's what living the Christian life is. That's it. So I wish y'all can see this hummingbird. I may even next film the little hummingbirds. I may have to put another one up, another feeder up. But anyway, I don't want this video to go too long. But wow, 17. All right. Have a blessed one, guys. Love you.